That's the hand up just to say slow it down, get through your grid hatchings and get ready to go racing for 11 laps here in DD2. The race does get underway as they work their way down towards turn number 1. Very slow start there by the looks of it from Cristiano Magado, who struggled to get away, so he's going to drop down and be under attack in towards turn number 2. He's already down to 4th place because the man who got up ahead of him was 619, which was Marcel Schirmer. So Marcel is up there with the top 2, French Kanskar and Anthony Abbas, who lead for the first time down the back straight in towards the right-hander at turn 6. Here comes a move. Anthony Abbas down the inside on French Kanskar, and he gets the job done now, but French will try and fight back in towards the right-hander at turn 7, and now both with them is going to be 619. As we mentioned, from 3rd on the grid, Marcel Schirmer, the top 3, really now starting to break away as they turn their way towards the hairpin at turn number 10, and watch out now for the rest of the pack to charge down here. We've got Cristiano Magado to watch out for in 4th place. I think he's just been demoted, in fact, down to 5th because the rest of the field are trying to work their way through.
What a fabulous move that was down into turn number 6 from Anthony Abbas, and it was a totally clean move. Now I wonder whether that means that the driver that was in the lead at that stage, French Kanskar, just didn't quite get the run through the complex that they've just gone through again now, which is turns 4 and 5, because that's where we're told if they get themselves slightly offline, slightly off speed, heading onto the long straight along the back of the circuit, it does leave them very vulnerable heading into turn 6. But that said, it was quite a late move, wasn't it?
Yeah, but he had to get the job done, as fighting back there for the lead is going to be French Kanskar, so he gets the job done at the hairpin at turn 9. And Anthony Abbas again will try and look back to get to his lead, which he had a few corners ago. French puts his hand up and says, come on, we need to work together. We've got Marcel Schirmer with us, and we're not getting away from the rest of the pack here. So French comes through this time, Anthony Abbas in 2nd. And what can Marcel Schirmer do at turn 1? Nothing for the time being. He looked for a move there briefly on the start finish line, a move further back there for Luca Kamali to get down the inside of Cristiano Magado. So Luca now moves up into 4th place, Cristiano's down to 5th, and look at Kevin Ludi, not a bad start, 7th on the grid, 6th place at the minute. He's now in the tow of Cristiano Magado as he heads down towards turn number 6. Can he make a move? Not at the minute.
It's interesting that you say that French Kanskar put his hand up to say, come on, let's follow each other and get ourselves clear. Or was it that he was a little bit frustrated? Because it did look as though there was a bit of bumping as they went through the hairpin of turn number 10. So was he saying, calm down, let's keep this clean? And Anthony Abbas is still absolutely glued to the back of French Kanskar as they come through turn number 11, heading into 12, heading onto the start-finish straight to complete their 3rd lap, and they're absolutely joined together. 0.1 was the gap as they went across the line, but Ferenc is just about holding on to it as he heads into the first of the right-left complexes. And the two of them have just managed to put probably about 3 kart lengths between them and Marcel Schirmer in 3rd position. The two of them, though, as they head down towards that turn number 6, glued together. Is he going to be able to have a look up the inside of Restaurant Corner number 7? Not quite there. That is a place where apparently, if you watch the track guide with Ed Brand, you can try to dive up the inside. But again, Anthony Abbas is switching one way then the other as they head through the hairpins, but he's not quite able to find that gap. I think that somehow French Kanskar is making that the widest kart in the world.
He's doing a good job of it, isn't he? So he's holding on for the time being. He's French, so he works his way on towards his 5th lap of the race now. Down towards turn 1 they go, and just briefly now the top 2 pulling away from the man in 3rd, Marcel Schirmer. So the gap is gradually eking out now between Anthony Abbas and Marcel Schirmer. There's been a few changes behind because we've got Kevin Ludi now up into 5th place, so he's worked his way past the Masters leader Cristiano Magado. So that's all happening down in 4th, 5th and 6th places. I think Cristiano could be under attack here from Enrique Baptista before too much longer as well. So Cristiano, a good start, but now starting to fade within this race with just under 7 laps to go. The top 2 head into the first of the hairpin down at turn number 9. That leads them into the 2nd of that as there's a move being made once again, and Anthony Abbas has got back to the front there, just a little bit late seeing that one in towards the hairpin, but he moves back ahead of French Kanskar. So it's going to be Anthony now who leads for a slight while here as he heads down towards turn number 1. Can French fight back on the inside? Nope, the door is kept shut by Anthony Abbas, and Marcel Schirmer is there or thereabouts once again. The gap between the top 2 was a 1/10 of a second. The gap between 2nd and 3rd sits at what's going to be 4/10 of the line, but much closer than that now.
Yeah, absolutely. Although they did a great job, the front 2, is that Anthony Abbas did make that move, but they didn't slow each other down enough to put themselves totally at the mercy of Marcel Schirmer, which of course is very easy to do. They slow each other down enough, and then suddenly the kart behind goes, I'll have a piece of that, but not quite. But the two of them are still joined together as they go through turn number 9, the first of the 2 hairpins, head down to and through turn number 10, heading towards us. They're still sort of less than a cart's gap between the front two, and then we're up to sort of probably about 3 carts lengths back to Marcel Schirmer. 3 of these, the absolute class of the field at the moment, because it's quite a long gap back then. That move up into 4th position now is Kevin Ludi. So we talked about him being 3rd in the championship, but starting down in 7th, he's got himself up into 4th already, Matt.
Yep, really good job from Kevin Ludi, who was on the podium in the final of the first round. He's looking to do exactly the same here this weekend. He sits 4th at the minute, but behind the top 3. Of course, 3rd place Marcel Schirmer, 2nd for French Kanskar, and of course Anthony Abbas, who continues to lead the way as the laps tick down. We're just over half race distance at the minute, and this is the place on the track down here at turn number 9 where the moves have come so far. That's where Anthony Abbas made a move. That's where French also made a move earlier in the race. That's going to be the key point for the remainder of this race now as the leaders head back towards us. Still in the lead at the minute is going to be Anthony Abbas. The gap growing slightly there, I'd say, that time. It was a 1/10 of a second. He's now going to sit at a 1/4 of a second. So really getting his head down now is Anthony Abbas. He's going to try and pull away, but Marcel Schirmer, they can still not shake him off. He's right there with the top 2. I don't think Kevin Ludi's going to have a chance of catching here in 4th place because he sits a good 2.5 seconds adrift.
It's a very interesting interview with French Conchar that we did yesterday, and he finished 12th here last year. But he did actually finish 2nd here in 2013. There was no excuses about any incidents in the race or the kart not on song. He outwardly turned around and said, it was me. I was not on form last year. I've sorted myself out. The head's back in the game, and you can see that in that tight 2nd position. He wants that lead back again, but at the moment, fair play. Anthony Abbas, championship leader, and he's showing why at the moment because he's managed to break that toe.
He certainly has, and French had a slight brief moment there where he was under attack from Marcel Schirmer, so he's really got to be wary now of Marcel, the German, who's doing so well here at round number 2. He's all on the attack at the minute, which means French is on the defence, and that also means he can't quite keep with Anthony Abbas up front. So they turn their way onto the back straight now for the 9th time of asking, and are starting to pull away as well from our 4th place man, which is still Kevin Ludi. Luca Kamali sits in 5th place. We've got Enrique Baptista, who's now up into 6th place ahead of our Masters leader so far throughout this race, Cristiano Magado. 2nd in class is Christophe Adams, and 3rd at the minute is Marc Berthaud, who finds himself down in 15th place overall. So that's a quick look at the Masters. Just under 3 laps to go. Are we 2 at the line this time round? And again, it looks pretty similar between 1st and 2nd and 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah, it does indeed. It's use your word from earlier, Matt. They're equidistant, so that does sum it up rather nicely. And 2 laps remaining. Is Ferenc possibly just sort of biding his time to get himself in a position where he may be able to make a last-ditch move? But as you said, there's no real need to do anything daft here, is there? You know, I'm sure as a racer he's not going to be happy in that 2nd, but he's not going to pull off any kind of banzai move that's going to be to the detriment of either of their races. So he's got himself comfortable. He's not needing to look too far back because Schirmer is probably just out of the toe of them at the minute. So going to be tricky for him to make a move. I think 4th position Kevin Ludi, kart 609, 3rd in the championship, sat in a very comfortable 4th position. I don't think he's going to get any higher up, but he's not under pressure from 5th position, which is Luca Kamali.
Yeah, but he's kind of in no man's land at the minute after working his way past the 2 guys who were ahead of him. He's now got no real chance of catching those 3 up front. So Kevin Ludi sits there in 4th place. Here comes the attack once more from French Kanskar. He's just managed to shake off the attentions of Marcel Schirmer now. So as they work their way down towards turn number 6, it's going to be one last lunge, I'm sure, from French on this final lap now as they work their way towards turn 7. And then, of course, the first of the main hairpins will come up at turns 9. And let's see what French can do. Will he go for it? We saw Anthony Abbas make a move earlier on. Not quite close enough there, unfortunately. So French still sits in the toe. And I think that's his chance now gone in this DD2 heat. The 2nd of the day so far. They work their way down towards the final couple of corners. And Anthony Abbas did a great job halfway through this race. He's going to take the first heat for him. His win here at the Luggy circuit. He comes through with a margin at the end there of just under 0.3 of a second. So great drive from Anthony Abbas. He comes home, of course, still the championship leader after the first round. He wins this heat as well. French Kanskar is there in 2nd place. 3rd place for the German Marcel Schirmer. Kevin Ludi, great drive from the Swiss to get himself up into what's going to be 4th. And Luca Kamali there rounds out our top 5. But again, it was quite close, Chris, up front between the top 3. And it's great to see Marcel Schirmer putting up a great fight as well.
Yeah, fair play indeed. He didn't let the 2 sort of main championship protagonists of Anthony Abbas and French Conchard just disappear. He mixed it and he deserved to be there. And he put pressure on them throughout the entire race. We saw in the early stages Anthony Abbas, French Conchard back and forth, swapping and changing that lead. And I think that that probably sets the tone for the rest of this weekend there.